lot in the media recently about paywalls and micropayments. What about those? Is that another way of funding content?
Possibly not one for the BBC licence fee.
I'm asking you as an opinion rather than as a representative.
Yeah, I think obviously apps are a chance for people to put extra value around their content and create an experience that will encourage people to part with some money. I think The Guardian have done that really well. I was going to have to pay my £2.50 to get that and get the added feature of being able to use the content while on the tube, which I thought was great. Micropayments, don't know, we'll see. Interesting, I know it's something Murdoch's interested in, but with just the domination of free at the moment, getting people to open their purse is going to be tricky, I think.
Yeah. Chris, from the point of view of the book publishing side of things, people will continue to pay for books, and if so, how, and what's the business model?
I think we've seen positive early signs that if you can take the high quality content that you would ordinarily find in a print product, repackage it in a way that takes advantage of the capabilities of the digital platform, augment it with media that makes sense. For example, on a mobile phone, in our case, it's vital that information is location based and can be searched properly and is properly tagged and so forth. And you can offer the same depth and breadth of content that you offered in print, but in a form factor where you can really serve the context that the user has in a much more appropriate way, that people will be prepared to pay a premium for that content. Of course, we have a kind of specific use case, which is travel, where if you're going on a trip which is going to cost you £5,000 or 5,000 euros or 10,000 euros, to pay 15 euros or 20 euros or 25 euros for a travel guidebook to give you that sense of, one, insurance that you're going to maximise that travel opportunity, two, the aspects around practical finding your way around and so forth. It's a pretty small price to be paying. So at a kind of fundamental USP level, the travel guide remains, from our perspective, a useful service to be offering. And I think what digital offers us is a platform where we can actually make that experience even better than what it's been in a print experience. And we've got lots more to do to get to the point that we really think we've nailed that. But I think if you can do that and you can still offer that high quality content, people will be prepared to pay for it.
I think there's still a role for advertising to fund content, and I think there's a role for paid content as well. The challenge, I think, from an advertiser's perspective is that we have limited time, we have infinite media. I mean, literally you could press a button and just keep producing more and more websites and media and pages of content. But we don't have any more brain cells, we don't have any more eyes, and we don't have any more time to consume all this stuff. So it's the challenge is getting the attention and not just creating the media output. So in terms of advertising, we need to be much cleverer about engaging with the audience. You can't assume that somebody wants a relationship with you, or if they do, it might be for a limited period of time as an advertiser. So for example, I do eat Mars bars, but do I really want a relationship with Mars bar where I'm getting lots of communication from them? Well, the answer is no. Yet there are other things that, if they're timely, it could be the right thing. And so we just need to be clever about the context, using the mobile information that you can get around that so that you know where I am, who I am, stuff I've done before, things I'm interested in. But don't make assumptions based on what you like. So a prime example of this is Facebook advertising. It drives me nuts. I'm a woman of a certain age, I'm not married, but really, I don't need adverts that saying, you are age, check out the single guy's age, because you're sad and lonely. It's like, I'm sorry. Or you are age such and such, get a free pair of shoes. It's like, don't waste my time. So that's not smart advertising, that's just annoying advertising. So we can't use some of the old models, which was just, throw a lot of mud and some of it will stick. We need to be much clever about it. And then in terms of paid content, the one thing that I would like to get across to the developer community is that this is kind of a gold rush, and not everyone will get rich by creating their apps for the iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, whoever's app store. Some will do incredibly well, most will not. So it's about still understanding your customers, understanding what they will pay for, what they won't pay for, understanding the sales cycle, understanding upselling, cross-selling, all these other techniques. It's nothing to do with the technology.
The tough reality of the App Store is that 20% of the apps are games and 50% of the revenue probably from the App Store is games. So the App Store is disproportionately skewed in the premium apps towards the games business, which means there's pretty thin revenues for everything else. So there's about 150,000 apps in the App Store. So if there's 30,000 games, there's 120,000 apps remaining that have to share out maybe $250 million worth of revenue a year, and that's 65 million users. That's about $4 per average iPhone and iPod Touch device user per annum. That's not a lot of revenue. So I think for a lot of this content in the future is going to have to be ad funded. The problem is that the mobile ad rates are so low that they don't pay for high quality content. We are seeing new ad models. I was just speaking to a guy, founder of a company called Apprupt, that are seeing about $8 or $9 CPM yield from the highly relevant ads where they're creating app stores on your mobile website, which are very specific to the interest area. And that's clever sort of targeting, not the stupid targeting that I think Helen was discussing. And we need to see more of that.
Well, while we're on the subject of apps, Steve, perhaps you can tell us a little bit more about how you see the future of this app development. Is it Apple a one-off thing? Or do we see other platforms like Android joining in, BlackBerry, etc.? And how long are they going to be around for? Is it just a fad, or is it going to be a major trend?
Well, we've just completed a massive analysis exercise of what we call the mobile touch web, which is all of the touch-friendly mobile websites and all of the touch apps in the app stores. And so we run this massive crawl, about 750 servers we fire up every month that crawl over 110 million websites and crawl the major app stores. So we've been amazed actually how much mobile touch web stuff is out there now. We measured, we estimate about 326,000 mobile touch-friendly websites in the world now, compared to about 170,000, 180,000 apps in total. So the mobile touch web is already bigger than the apps world. I'm an iPhone user, so I live in a bit of an iPhone bubble, so that really surprised me, because you think if you're an iPhone user that it's all about apps, but actually with all the other touchscreen phones, the balance is going the other way. It's more about the mobile web.
I would have to agree that you can get locked in the iPhone bubble. I talk to a lot of agencies and brands, and they're obsessed by getting their iPhone app out. And it's like, okay, so who's your audience? And they start to tell me who their customers are. I'm like, so what phones do you think they have? So, iPhones. And I'm like, probably not. And they haven't done the research into the kind of phones their customers actually have, whether it's BlackBerries or Nokias or particular phones. And particularly when it comes to content for women, because women are sold feature phones, not smartphones. So there's again a disparity. And my hunch is that there will be a market for both apps and for mobile websites. I think mobile web will be bigger ultimately once we've got data charges and stuff like that sorted out. Probably a little bit away yet, but it will happen. But the challenge is kind of getting over from the geek land to the real customers, and that is still a major challenge.